What's up, everybody? This is Gabe the Barber. Haven't been back on here in probably a month or so, I would say. Really don't know. I gotta look at it, but I wanted to let you guys know that I appreciate all the views that I have been getting, and I hope that we can grow. And the reason being that I did not put out any videos was because my barbershop was broken into a while back, and my camera was broken, and I just have not got around to getting a new camera. I finally got a new camera. Um, I'm gonna be buying a new mic so that the voiceovers are a lot more, um, I would say better, I guess you could say. But right here, what we're gonna be doing today is basically just a comb over, mid to high razor fade with some color enhancement. What I like to do first when I am doing this type of haircut, which is my favorite haircut to do, is I like to blow dry the hair out a little bit. Especially with this client, his hair has a big wave in the back, as you can see on his crown area, towards the back where his swirl is at. So right here, I just get my vent brush and I just go ahead and I start trying to work that hair down, trying to get it into the position that it would be at if I was actually styling the hair. Once I'm done blow drying the hair, I'll go ahead and start working on the scissor work. After I blow dry the hair, as you can see, I will go ahead and basically mess up all the work I just did. I didn't really blow dry too much to get that much shape. I just wanted to see what the hair would do and how it would lay down. So now what I like to do is I like to comb all the hair forward on this particular haircut. And if the hair, and I'll actually go ahead and grab the hair diagonally from the side that it's parted at. So if the hair is combing to the right, I'll go ahead and start cutting from the right to left, as you can see here. I'll make about 2 to 3 cuts getting to the back of the parietal around his crown area. And once I do that, I will basically have my guideline to go in and comb the hair to the side and start cross-checking, I guess you could say. I'm not the best with scissors, so I'm trying my best to explain what I'm doing with the scissors. I'd like to get better at them, so if you guys have any kind of feedback, please be sure to leave it in the comment section below. I am someone that loves to learn. I will learn from anybody, and I believe that you should learn. You should try to learn from everybody. Everybody has something that they could teach someone. But anyway, got off track a little bit. As you can see here, after I combed the hair to the side, I went in at the top of the parietal and I went ahead and I made a few cuts from right to left, ensuring that the hair will be able to lay down nicely with this particular haircut. The reason that I cut from right to left with this haircut is because when I was in school, what I was taught was if the hair combs from left to right, you will cut it from right to left, and that'll actually leave an angle on the hair, allowing the hair to fall naturally to that side. One of the last things that I like to do is basically get the front, and as you can see here, clip my glove a little bit, but I actually like to do the front last because that hair from the front of the hairline is a lot shorter from the top of the head. No one's head is perfectly flat at top, so I like to go ahead and pull it up a little bit and curl my fingers back just to make sure and ensure that that hair will actually be able to lay back. After I finish the scissor work, the initial scissor work, I'm gonna go ahead and part the hair where my client likes it parted. I'll use a hair gripper. Some people might just use water and keep damping it up to keep that line. Some people like to use a clip. I like to use the hair gripper. For some reason, these just work the best for me. They might not work for you, but for me it works. Starting off with the 1.5 guard, metal guard, as I should say, I'm gonna go ahead and go all the way up, basically going directly up, all the way up, basically with his parietal ridge. Sorry, stumbling the words a little bit there, but I'll try to drop it a little bit towards the back, as you know, basically to contour the head. This is not a drop fade. This is basically just a fade that's going to contour to the shape of his head. Your head might be different. Your occipital bone might protrude out more than others. Once I make that initial first guideline, basically clearing the landscape with that 1.5, I'll go in with my metal magic clips and have the lever all the way open, and I'll do a little bit of clipper over comb. So basically with this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to blend from top to bottom on the left side and from bottom to top. Right here, I'll go ahead and make my first initial bald guideline. I'll basically go all the way up to, I would say, the temporal part of the head, dropping it a little bit below the occipital bone once it gets to the back of the head. The reason why I do this is because every haircut starts with their first bald guideline. Every good haircut, I should say. Once you get that first good guideline in, your fade will follow behind it. Just making sure that there's not a lot of hairs behind the ear, especially wearing these masks. And right here you can see that I have the guard all the way open, well, basically the lever all the way open, and I'm going to be using a C motion, going up about a half an inch, almost to an inch. Again, keeping the guidelines the same throughout the haircut. You're going to see on this side how I make my guidelines first, and then once all my guidelines are in, I'll start blending down, which I actually would say is best for beginners. Now I'm going to go in with my green half guard all the way open, and I'm about to go up another half an inch to an inch, making sure that once I'm going up almost into the ridge of the hair, I'm scooping out. You don't want to go into the hair, because then when you're looking directly at your client, they're going to have more of a cone shape. Some clients might like that, some clients might not. Right here you can see, point out that my first guideline, my second guideline is this one, and that's my third guideline. This right here would be the 1.5 guard, and here I'm basically gonna kind of debulk in a way, almost thinning the hair out a little bit, maybe you could say. This is just to basically connect the top to the bottom right here. Closing the lever, basically getting that line out, and now we're gonna start blending down. Using the one red guard, and there will actually be a color guide chart for you guys to go along with. If you guys do get lost and you guys don't know what guard I have on here, there should be a chart here on the video so you could follow along. Dropping down to the 0 guard now. We're going to be about halfway open, trying to blend out that line from the half into the 1.5 open. Each time you see my thumb come off of the clipper, guys, I am always moving the lever down. Once you see me drop the clipper basically out of the frame, I'm basically pulling the lever up. I use my index finger to push the lever up, and I use my thumb to push the lever down. And then here I went ahead and I switched clippers, as you can see, and these are basically my 0 gapped seniors. It just has a red top case on them. Me personally, I have different clippers for different textures of hair and for different things. This one is adjusted very, very close to the head, so please be careful when you do zero gap your clippers, that you know what you're doing and you're not digging into the client's head. As you can see here, I'm using either the left side of the blade or the right side of the blade. It may look like I'm using the entire blade, but I never do. I like to use little circular motions when blending tighter spots, and then when I try to do longer blends, you'll see me make longer strokes. Going back in with the half guard just to detail little things, you know. Again, we blend it down, and the last thing we're gonna do is gonna be the clip over comb to take out that big weight line right here. Me particularly, I like to use the Wahl flat top comb. You can achieve your clipper over combing with any comb, really. You just have to know your limits, basically know your angles. Right there, I was just checking, looking directly at the client. That's what I like to do when I'm doing a haircut like this, especially when the client does ask me to make sure that I leave the sides bulky enough to where it goes straight up with his head and makes his head kind of more squarish. I look directly at my client to ensure that I'm not going too much in and I'm not leaving too much hair out to make him look either like a coconut head or a cone head. And guys, don't worry if the haircut is not fully done on one side. Usually what I like to do is I like to basically bust out the haircut within anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, and the last 20, or depending on how long you guys set your appointments, is when I go back in and I do all my detail work. Then right here, I'm gonna just go in with my Wahl shavers and basically bolt that out, and that's gonna actually just make this entire fade pop. You're gonna see the difference in the gradiency of the haircut. Be careful and be mindful not to go into your guideline with this shaver, because you can easily make a mistake and basically make a whole other line that you're gonna have to take out, which should not be a problem, but you don't want to go ahead and just basically erase a lot of the work that you just put in. So again, be mindful not to go all the way up to your first guideline. Okay, so for this side, again, that side was blending from top to bottom. This side is going to be blending from bottom to top. As we make our guidelines, we're going to be blending. This is what I recommend for more advanced people. Fading from top to bottom for a beginner is better, in my opinion, is because you actually leave yourself room just in case to mess up. You know, everybody does. But as you can see here, I have the 1.5 guard, and I'm kind of blending as I go. Again, keeping the blade 90 degrees with the head as I go up to the parietal ridge, keeping it straight up. And as you can see, I'm not going to need that much detail work when I go back with the clipper over comb. Same guidelines that I did on the other side, the 1.5 to basically clear the canvas. Now I'm going to go in with the Wahl detailers, and I'm going to go ahead and start the first bald guideline, going up to the temple, dropping it down below the occipital bone, ensuring that those little hairs behind the mask are cut. Clipper all the way open. And you might say that my guidelines look a little bit thicker here. Yes, they do. I would say so. When you see the haircut finished, it's not going to look like one side's higher than the other. It's just that when I'm blending upwards, I really like to basically use a C motion and really, I don't know how to really say, basically emphasize the scooping technique. As you can see here, with just one guard, this is coming together really easy, whereas with the other one there was a lot more steps that you had to take. This one basically you can see that the blend is coming together really quickly and very effortlessly. Needless to say, everybody does have an easier side to blend. I wouldn't say this was his easier side. As you can see right there towards the front of the hairline, there's that little bit of darkness. But once I'm done with the green half guard, I go in with my wall seniors again, all the way open, and I'm scooping out, just making sure that I did get that all to the same size. And I'm going to be opening and closing the clipper. Again, each time you see my hand drop out of frame, my index finger is lifting up the lever, and when you see my thumb drop off the top of the clipper, it's because I'm dropping the lever open more. Just going back in and doing little bits of work with the half guard. Now I'm gonna go in with the one guard. Gonna try to get that little bit of darkness right there towards the hairline. Again, you guys, get down the haircut basically finished, and then once you're done lining up, go back in and start detailing more. That's what's gonna separate you guys from the person next to you or the person that they used to go to, you know? Again, and I can't stress this enough because I've had a lot of people that have came to me and try to learn from me, and one of their number one problems is when they create their bald line with their shavers, they don't know how to take them out. Be mindful again where your first guideline was at. If you do go up into it, make sure that you basically flick the razor out as if it was a clipper. Think of it as your adjustable clipper and use the corners, and you'll be able to blend that out. Just remember that no matter what happens, whatever you put the guideline in with, you will be able to take it out with the exact same clipper. All I'm doing right here, you guys, is basically taking off that little bit of weight that is making it look that there's kind of a line right here, you know. It's just a little bit of heaviness. Again, you guys, haircut looks like it could be finished for some people. I like to go in after I line everything up and basically detail everything. So right here, we're gonna move on to the front hairline. As you can see, he already had a pretty much he already had a hairline that was already made. What I like to do is comb the hair down, start from the middle, and basically pulling the hair the opposite direction that it's not falling towards. For me, that works for me to get the line as crispy as possible. Be sure to not make the person look like they have a happy face on their forehead. That's gonna basically look more like a receding hairline if they don't have that already. On my client's left side, which is the opposite side. If you're looking at the video, it's gonna be your right side. He is thinner towards that area, but you will see that you don't need to go all the way up to get that crisp line. You could use those little baby hairs that are combed down to create that straight guideline. Hairline, I should say. Again, guys, with the lineup, you know, be very patient. Don't rush it at all. This is basically the cherry on top for the client and for yourself. Every client that I've ever talked to, they've always told me that one of the first things that they look at in a barber is how they line up. They feel that they could determine if the barber's good if the person could do a fairly decent edge up. Also, this is what the client's going to look at every single day in the mirror. They're not going to look at the back of their head. Not saying that you should not detail the back of the head, back of the haircut, I should say. But just make sure that your guys' edge ups are on point. that, you know, they're not crooked. If they are crooked, you could ask the client, hey, you know, your hairline's naturally crooked. If you want, I could push it back on this side or on this side to make it look symmetrical. Sometimes you have to do those things, you know. I know that's like a big thing with everybody, thinking that, oh my god, the barber pushed him back, this and that. But in reality, everybody needs to get pushed back a little bit. If not at all. You know, it just depends on your hairline. If the way you like it, if you don't mind your hairline being crooked, then we'll line your hairline up your exact natural way. And so right here, I go in with, I believe it's the Beam Team XL cordless airbrush. And I'm actually using a mixture of Kiss Express and alcohol. If you would like to know how I mix my hair color, leave a comment below or DM me on Instagram at GabeTheBarber9. I mix mine to where it goes into the Beam Team really well, and you don't really get clogs at all, but you just have to make sure that you maintain your Beam Team compressor. This particular client as well did ask to have the color enhancement dark enough so that when he went home and he showered, that if any color was to wash off, it would look lighter enough to be natural. So some clients, I have it to where they're gonna go out right after their haircut and they don't want it too dark, so I do it really light. Or I have those clients that they get their haircut, they want the enhancements, and they don't want to come back to the shop, so they ask me to do it extra dark so that when they shower, it washes a little bit and it looks natural. When I do the edge up in the front, you guys, I really like to stretch the skin as much as possible. I'm sure every barber likes to do that. I just want to mention it just because I've had a couple of classes where I was teaching a couple of students and they were having hard times with their lineups, saying that they were cutting people, that they couldn't get it as crispy. Me personally, I do not like to use any type of shave gel or lather when I'm doing a lineup or a beard lineup, unless the person tells me that they're sensitive to the dry razor. If they do, I'll go ahead and do that. I'm not saying that my lineups won't be as crispy, but I just personally like to do them dry. That's what was done to me growing up with my barbers. That's what they've taught me. That's what I've basically learned to like. I've tried it with shave gel and I really don't like it as much. Making sure you guys clean off the client, and here's the finished look. I went ahead and I started to detail off camera. If you guys do like the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys watching this long tutorial. Be safe and God bless.